Good afternoon. Welcome back to the breakdown. I'm Austin Johnson,
I'm Drew Covington.
and today we're going to be recapping the NBA Finals. Game three just happened last night, and then some crazy moves that happened in the NFL. Well, I'm wearing a Falcon shirt today, but the Bears are becoming the Indiana Bears, apparently. And then we also have Russell Wilson retiring, and then also Brendan Sorsby, the former Cincinnati quarterback. He just transferred to Texas Tech, and he was gambling on games that he was playing in, and made over 9,000 bets, and spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on gambling. And when that happens, usually you'll see a player, they will usually get banned or suspended, and that looked like the case for Sorsby. But a judge in Texas just ruled that Sorsby can still play in college football, and that's going to set a precedent for college football for years to come, as we've never seen something like that happen. So we'll definitely talk about that as well. Drew, how you doing now today?
Solid, man. Solid. The good guys won yesterday. I'm pretty happy about that.
Me too, me too, me too.
I wanted a series. I wanted to see an interesting series, and I'm glad that the Spurs finally responded with a level of desperation, to what happened, within game one and game two. You know.
I agree. Um, I was happy the Spurs won. For a second, I definitely there's a kind of like a way that each game is gone, as it's like the Spurs will jump out to a lead, get up about 10 or 12, and then all of a sudden the Knicks hit a flurry of threes, or in some way just get back in the game. And that happened again. They were up by seven, I think, at halftime. And I thought they were gonna lose for a second. And then this series has definitely been fun. Every game has been pretty close. I know game one was up. The Knicks won by 10, but if you watch the game, you know that it was still close to the end. And I do think the Spurs had a chance to win all three of these games. So I'm glad they finally closed that out. What was your reaction after game two? Would Wemby pass it off as Stephon Castle?
Man, it's one of those things where it's like, man, sometimes a goat falls short. You know what I'm saying? We watched LeBron get locked up by Jason Terry. You know what I'm saying? In his
We
prime.
have. That
You know,
was
like
that was
things,
really bad.
these things happen, and you know what I'm saying. It was sad because a lot of people tried to deflect blame onto like Mitch Johnson for not calling a timeout, or
I would have called a timeout though.
which on
I
some
think he
level I
should have.
agree. Or one of the guards, such as De'Aaron Fox or Stephon Castle, not going to Wemby, calling for the ball, considering that they're the guard on the team. But at the end of the day, Wemby, not only then, but just near the end of the game, made a lot of careless mistakes. I remember there was this rebound he got, and he span around to the corner for a 3-pointer, and
Yeah, that was wild.
I bursted out laughing because even if he made it, I would have still laughed because like that's just not the shot. That's not the shot right then and there. So
With like a minute and a half left, he thought he was Kevin Durant or something like that.
and again, I will say, a lot of people were getting very wild with the way they were talking about Wemby after Game Two. A lot of people were getting
Mhm.
very wild. The idea that Wemby is not clutch when we watched a series beforehand in which he proved that he has a clutch gene, lacing stuff from half court when his team needs it. That was some of these things were a little crazy. And overall, I do think that a lot of people have kind of overblown how, I guess, bad Wemby have played this series. Don't get me wrong. I think that he hasn't been specifically in game two, specifically in the first half. He wasn't as aggressive as he should have been, and also he has done a lot of roaming around the 3-point line rather than being in the paint where he needs to be. But in game one, he had 26 points. In game two, he had 29. He scored 22 points in the second half. We're acting as if he is pulling a Chet Holmgren in which he's just taking it. No, Wemby is playing. Um, and I will say when it came to game three, Wemby wasn't roaming around the paint. His first four attempts, all of them, were in the paint, and that's a big reason as to why they won yesterday.
I agree. I think definitely this is not a bad series by any means. I mean, yes, he played bad in game one, but if a bad game or a bad shooting night is 20, 26, and 12, like
Yeah.
that's and in year three that says a lot. That means there's a lot worse or a lot better coming in the future,
Hmm.
depending on who's your favorite team. But then in game two, definitely slow start. But then he made the plays. He made all the right plays in game two up until the last 2 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
He scored 22 in the second half, like you said, but when he took that three, that was definitely not the shot. And then just that play where Wemby passed it off of Castle, either you gotta, as like I said, Mitch Johnson should have either A, called timeout, B, Wemby has to get the ball out quicker because like you watch Stephon turn around and look at him like, are you gonna pass me the ball? Are you gonna pass it? And he didn't do it, so he just kept running. And you got to think this is our best player. I'm assuming he's gonna go and try and get the last shot, and then he just passed it off his back. That's like the worst possible option out of that whole sequence. So just it was a bad moment for sure, but definitely they can learn from it. And I do think like they could very well go back to San Antonio tied up. I think people are
I'm not gonna say
people are
anything.
saying Knicks in four. People were saying Knicks in four. I thought that was wild. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I still don't think the Knicks have been playing better than the Spurs. Don't get me wrong. Like, we still haven't really had a good game from Fox. We haven't really had a crazy game from Devin Vassell. Timely shots, but
Mhm.
still not a crazy game. Even Champagny has not put together an entire four quarters, maybe about a good half or a good quarter. So I think as a team, the Spurs are not playing the best, and you got to give credit to the Knicks for that. But I don't think this team is better than OKC. Like I really don't. Even without J Dub or AJ Mitchell, I still thought this OKC team is beating the Knicks. So I think all three games for the Spurs were winnable for sure, and I think they can very well come back tied tied 2-2. I hope they do just for the length of the series. Like, because then if they go 6 games, you got a game six in New York, and then France plays in the World Cup in New York. That would be fine. That would be a great day for it.
Amen. Amen. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not. I don't want to. I don't want to jinx anything. I will say I do agree. I do think after games one and two, I think a lot of people were talking not just reckless about Wemby, but about the Spurs in general. I think right now, yes, you can argue. I think the argument is very reasonable, very valid to say that the Knicks are just clearly the better team. However, I feel as if a lot of people were acting as if there's this large, gargantuan gap. I still think obviously the Spurs came out the West. You know what I'm saying? They are a good team and they're a great team. And I feel as if a lot of people were kind of talking crazy. And moving to like
I
game
mean,
three, yeah, moving a little.
before you go, like I will say though, because of social media, people are gonna drag it, like
Oh yeah,
especially the slander, and people are really just trying to get jokes off, trying to get like a viral tweet or a viral post off. So like, I understand what you like when it's about your favorite team or your favorite player. You definitely be like, dang, that kind of hurt a little bit. Like, why are you talking about my man's like that? But I don't know. I feel like social media, especially like Twitter, during a big game, like that's one of the funniest places to be
oh
during a
yeah.
big game because people are just trying to say some funny stuff and really just get a fire tweet off. But I think the Wemby slander, like some of it was warranted, some of it wasn't. A lot of it wasn't because they were talking about him like Kevin Durant ruined basketball. That was hilarious though. Untrue, but
Yeah,
very funny.
yeah, it was, you know what I'm saying? It was kind of crazy, and I was like, yeah, and funny because I'm not on Twitter, I'm not on Twitter, so and when part of me does miss it because it's like, bro, Twitter sports slander is like the most like funny thing ever. Like it is truly
Which is
beautiful.
why I have that. It's
Um, and
whenever the big game one, it's hilarious.
yeah, but moving to game three, I think one of my biggest things, first of all, I knew that they're going to lose. That's in the Knicks because Donald Trump was in the building. But two,
Right.
the second thing I really focused on was Stephon Castle. If you noticed at the end of game two, Stephon Castle was borderline unplayable, and at the end of game
He
two,
was.
he was he was a liability on our defense. Either he was fouling Brunson, allowing Brunson to get to the line, or he just or on offense, he was turning over the ball. Just had a like bad shot selection. So I was really, and that kind of scared me because Stephon Castle, at least in my opinion, is the most consistent player on this team. He's the most, in my eyes. And
Not even more than Wemby.
yeah, I think, Wemby has a level of volatility on offense that, which is why we have the conversations about him. But I do think he's the most consistent overall player on this team. And so I was really concerned. It's like, wait, like how, like the fact that he was borderline unplayable in clutch minutes, that genuinely does concern me. In game three, he had a terrific game. Like he had a terrific game. 23 points, I think, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Was doing a great job of making Brunson's life as hard as possible. Brunson is just one of those guys. Hey man, when there's 2 minutes left on the clock, he's gonna make most of the shots he takes.
Yeah.
Um, and you're gonna have
And
to live with that. I talked to my brother. I said he
and
kind of reminds me of Dame, like in a way. In a way. Not. I don't think he's as good as Damian Lillard. With all due respect to Jalen Brunson, but yeah, I'm really happy that he had a really solid game. He was getting to the basket very well. He was very aggressive getting to the basket. There were so many times in which either he got an and one or an and one wasn't called. And we can talk about the reffing later because I think that's a very interesting conversation that Mike Brown seems to be very upset about. But
that was
yeah,
kind of a disingenuous point by him, in my opinion. But
I mean, I agree as well because especially considering that your team turned over the ball a lot, like a lot. But yeah, I think he had a terrific game. He was getting to his spots. He was getting to the basket. He made those clutch free throws, and also he made that clutch three that I didn't expect him to make. I'm not gonna lie to you. If I really thought that play was gonna be like a dead play because of Wemby because he was playing around with the ball, but
yeah,
luckily he made it. Wemby, great game. Hey man, De'Aaron Fox, you did something, man. I'm proud of you.
and that like
You know what I'm saying?
that's a good point because one that possession with Castle where that last three that he hit, that was when he gave him the grenade of grenades. Like
Yes.
that was a horrible possession. Like I was watching the game, like you're just wait bringing the clock down, you're not going anywhere, and then you try to put up a shot and just halfway through pass it to Castle. That could have gone like if he doesn't hit that shot, they might have lost the game.
Yeah, yeah, legitimately, like there's no other. And again, Wimby has to be better with like possessions like that. I think a litmus test for like whether the Spurs will win or lose, a game is how many turnovers will Stephon Castle and Wemby total for? When Wemby becomes a turnover machine or Stephon Castle becomes a turnover machine, which is kind of funny. I was telling my brother this yesterday. I think Stephon Castle is the best playmaker on this team, but I trust him the least when it comes to ball security.
Yeah, I think
It's
that's true.
yeah,
It's a double-edged sword. Like he was getting almost 7 to 8 assists a game against OKC.
yeah,
But the first two games without De'Aaron Fox, he was also getting 9, almost 10 turnovers in both of those games. So it's like, what do you want to have? And when you have somebody on defense that really harasses guards, Stephon Castle has trouble with that. And I think he'll get better with that in his career,
of course.
hopefully. If not, that would be a problem. This is still only year two. If he's like this next year, or definitely in year four, and like this is still an issue, then that's gonna worry me. But as of right now, he's still young, and I think I agree with that take as well. Um, De'Aaron Fox, man, I'm happy that he made a clutch shot. I do think he's still hurt, but
Yeah,
like some of these because he's not playing the same way that he would before. Like, a lot of his game is based on his speed. And if you have a grade two ankle sprain, and it's been like that for now since the Timberwolves series, and it hasn't been getting better for sure. Him not being able to really accelerate and cut, you can tell that's a hindrance on his game. However, there are a lot of open shots that he misses, and like he'll get to a spot and misses and just miss, and he's like second guessing himself, and that's something I didn't see or didn't think I would see from Fox. So I just want him to have one game in the series where like Fox really like just balled out, and
yeah,
that is the scary part for the Knicks because they've had games where Mikal almost didn't miss a shot. They've had games where OG has played really, really well. Landry Shamet, their guys have played well. The only one who really hasn't like had a, I mean, he's gonna get his points, but a really like efficient game is Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
And I'd say on the Spurs side, Devin Vassell had 11 points, but he only got up 4 shots, only
Yeah.
missed one. So I think there are guys on the Spurs who haven't fully like gone to their peak yet, and I think that's what should worry the Knicks. Now, like I said again, you got to credit their defense, but I think I'm really hoping the Spurs can come back. I think they can. It's just they got to put it together. I know foul trouble definitely hindered Mikal Bridges' performance. He only had 5 shots. He only had 2 points. And then also, I think Cat just was too into the emotions of the game. Like every time he got a shot, he was barking at somebody, yelling, and he only had 11 and 8. And before Game 3, I said the MVP of the series for the Knicks is low key Cat. Like he
Yeah.
he's been balling. So I think on both sides there are improvements to be made. But as like going with my pick, I want the Knicks to win. So hopefully, I mean, I want the Spurs to win. So hopefully um the Spurs can tie this up. And I think it would just be fun for like entertainment purposes, of course, making the series go longer. But also, bro, imagine if the Knicks lost after being up 2-0 in the finals. One, that would be hilarious, but two, they would riot in New
Yeah.
York, man. That
Yes.
would actually be some like unforeseen stuff. And then they would blame it on Trump.
And it would
And
all.
then like and it's a win-win for me. The Knicks lose, and we blame Trump, and like there's more hate. It's
You know,
lovely, and I do think he really messed up the vibes in New York. Like that's actually crazy. Like
we can
it's
get to that.
no,
You know what I'm saying?
like of course, like you're gonna say keep politics out of sports and blah blah blah, that stuff like that. But like, we really gotta say like they got on Barack, and they had a news storm for about Barack Obama for wearing a tan suit
Yeah.
for weeks. And we watch Donald Trump is our president now and has done something like on a weekly basis that's way, way crazier than that.
Yeah.
And he stops the watch parties. He makes it so nobody like it took people like 3, 4 hours to get into the game. It just messed up the vibes around the city. And he did all of that just so he could go to sleep during the game. That is wild to me. And I'm happy like I'm happy they booed him. That was actually
Oh, yeah.
fire. Like
Yeah.
when they showed him on the screen, that made me really happy because that was all I asked. Like definitely slander. We need all the slander, all the boos, and I'm glad they did that. Shout out to the Knicks fans.
Yes.
That was the best thing the Knicks fans have done. Worst thing Knicks fans have done though. If you're wearing a Spurs jersey
Oh,
outside
yeah.
the Garden and they're ripping it off, that is crazy. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Like you would definitely get jumped. But if I'm in that scenario, I'm not gonna lie, we just have to fight. Like it is
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
And like they don't and that's another thing too, like you don't know what people have like what
Yeah, man.
people have like are capable of or what they have on them. Imagine you trying to rip a Wemby jersey off of somebody and then he has a gun. What are you gonna do then? You're in the wrong.
But I said, like, what, like,
Oh, sorry, officer. He was wearing a Spurs jersey. I
I'm about
can't
to
let
say,
that
like, what do
slide.
you say to that? You
And
know,
then you got popped. Like you have a hole in your chest.
bro.
So that to me, like I don't condone that. But props to the Knicks for booing Donald Trump. That's all I wanted. I wanted hate on that
Yeah,
on
man.
that
I
day.
think unironically, it really did have like an impact on the game. Like, I really do think that. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
I think, and someone's, I don't know if the Knicks were ready. Ironically, I don't know if the Knicks were ready for the intensity in that building. Like
No, they
they
weren't.
came out, and you can say, well, they've come out flat every game, but I think like they came out really flat, and energy wise, I don't know if they had it. Um, and yeah, bro, I'm very happy Trump was booed. Obviously he made the buzz around this game a lot more like difficult just in general. I mean, as you talked about it, it took people 3 hours to get in the game. They had to get screened, multiple times, and just for bro to, we've never had a sitting president. And obviously, Obama pulled up, I think it was the 2019 finals, but we've never had a sitting president be at an NBA finals game. And the fact that he took time to disturb the good people of New York,
Entire
was,
public at that.
yeah, only Donald Trump would do that. And I think it is the reason why they lost the game. It would be very
Man, I'm
funny.
glad they lost because, like, imagine they won. He would have said, "Oh, they
Oh yeah,
won because I was there." That would have pissed me off.
it
So
would talk
I'm
crazy.
just glad in general they lost, but also like I'm glad like I mean his PR was always in the tank, but like it definitely went down again. Teammate grade, Trump teammate grade is about to F.
He would have been talking crazy. Yeah, the whole like beating Spurs fans outside of outside of the Garden. That is crazy. Like that's like, and I mean Wemby literally said it like this morning. In a presser, like that's unacceptable. That's not acceptable behavior.
Yeah,
Speaking,
nah, like, it,
I'm
and
sorry.
like, just last point, really quick, like, and you don't know, like, also, like, some people have, like, I definitely have jerseys that, like, have sentimental value, like,
Yeah,
people have, like, gotten, like, my grandpa or something like that. Bro, you are not ripping my jersey. Like, I can't go for that. I'll take it off if you were really talking about jumping me. But again, like, I'm willing to fight for that. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I would have just taken the like my pride is not gonna let me go like that. I can't lie.
I hear
I
you.
lose the fight, but you're not ripping my jersey off.
I hear you on that, bro. I hear you on that. Speaking of unacceptable behavior, the refereeing was a big part of this game, and I do think the refereeing was inconsistent. I think the refereeing inconsistencies has been an issue without the NBA throughout the entirety of the year, not just in the playoffs, not just in last series, not just when watching OKC. For those people who are annoying, just to be clear, um, it's been inconsistent. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. So Wemby pushing down Brunson, that should have been a technical. And
It
honestly,
should have.
hey,
It should have.
I laughed. I thought that was funny. I like,
Thought it
and
was hilarious.
yeah, I thought it was funny. And like Brunson's like just like that was funny to me.
Oh yeah,
Wemby,
now he laughed at him during the play. Like,
but I said
what are you
Brunson
gonna
is,
do, bro?
but I said Wemby just laughing him off is hilarious. I think that the technical call on Brunson defending Champagny falling down. Obviously, Brunson not giving him. I don't agree with that call.
No,
Um,
I don't either.
I don't. I didn't.
And he missed the free throw anyway. Like, there was
Yeah,
no point of that. You just stopped the game.
yeah. You just stopped the game for no reason. I will say, the whole like some stuff just New York gets Riley about. The whole like Cornette Josh Hart thing. That's what are we talking about? That's not.
Yeah, bro, that
That's
was
not.
not that deep, bro.
That's not that.
Josh Hart ran. Josh Hart ran to the ball.
Yes.
Tried to grab it after it already went through the hoop, and Luke Cornett is just trying to pass it in, and then he's gonna get mad at Luke Cornett. Bro, what are you doing?
But
Run down the court, and they called a timeout. Like you could have just ran to the sideline. That was a choice. Like
I feel the same way.
that made me mad.
I hear that, and I feel the same way. I'm not gonna lie. I feel the same way about the whole like uh Castle running into Brunson. I don't think that's a technical. I think Brunson is running to get a rebound. Sorry. I think Castle was running to
Possible.
get a rebound. I don't
And he
think.
was in
I
the
don't.
lane, and he's trying to block him like this.
But I said,
Come
I don't
on,
think
this is
there's
basketball.
load up or anything like that. I think that's stupid. I
I
think, but also I will say the whole thing in which like Castle was supposed to be subbed in but wasn't, and X, Y, and Z. That's not on. Let's be clear. That's not on the Spurs. That's actually on the refs. The refs executed
talking
that
about the
poorly.
delay of game.
Yeah, the delay of the game. The refs executed that poorly. Obviously, and Mitch Johnson wanted to sub in Castle so they had more time to review the play. The refs just literally didn't respond. Um,
Yeah,
so all that being said, and also I think I think that the Knicks committed a lot of dumb fouls this game. Also, I think they committed a lot of dumb turnovers this game, which is kind of the reason why they lost. Um, but yeah, I don't think that there's this disparity that everyone like is talking about. Yes, I do think some calls aren't being made, and that should be made. That there needs to be a certain level of consistency, right? That isn't there right now. But this like I see like oh yeah, I hate when people say the NBA is rigged. I hate it, bro. It is so annoying. It is so annoying because again,
I think
refs.
it's funny more than anything.
I mean, yeah, but like it buys into this narrative, in my opinion, that refs have so much control over the game. Um, when I disagree with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the story of last night is pretty simple. the Knicks didn't match San Antonio's defensive intensity, and they turned over the ball a lot. I think that it is literally that simple. They committed a lot of dumb turnovers, and they didn't match the defensive intensity that they matched in games 1 and 2. I think it's
To
that simple.
me, and I agree. I think to me, like when people say the NBA is rigged, I just laugh because if you know, like if you played at a certain level of sports, you've had coaches tell you like don't leave the game in the hands of the refs. Like the only time where I could say the NBA might have a little control is maybe over a game 7 because that's like a pivotal game where the refs, the way that it's called, can set the tone for the rest of the game. I do agree with that. Man, like you'll hear that from former players. They'll say like, don't leave the game in the hands of the refs of the game 7. You don't want it. You want it to either be a blowout or you want it to be a blowout instead of it being close. I do agree with that. But besides that, like you can't I do think there's also some inconsistency with the ways that the game is called, especially like game 2. Game 2, they were letting everything fly.
Yeah.
But then game 3, they called it, they like buttoned it up a little bit. So there's inconsistencies, but again, like the players on the court are the ones who like control the game. So well, I just kind of let that go when people say that. I don't pay too much mind to it. And I agree, like, yes, Mike Brown, there was a big free throw discrepancy in the second half. In the first half, the Knicks had more free throws than the Spurs. Like, it evened out. And you were fouling more in the second half. So to me, I don't really take that seriously. Um, I think the Spurs outright won the game. Now, the Knicks did a good job of staying in it, but people generally did not play well. Like you're going to lose if one of your starters, Mikal Bridges,
Yeah.
only hits one shot. Like that's going to happen. Again, your All NBA center, Cat, had 11 points. You're going to lose. Like you had two starters combined for 13 points. And then Jalen Brunson didn't shoot efficiently either. He got his 30, but
Has yet
like
to shoot efficiently either. He's yet to shoot
no,
efficiently.
he hasn't. So like he's been and like they won 13 games in a row. Like that whole thing, I saw a tweet. It was like that's been burning a hole in his pocket because that was the first game they've lost in like a month and a half, bro. And you're gonna complain about that? That to me just I don't care. Like if you watch the game, you know why they lost. Like you can't blame the refs for that, bro, at all. And even Jordan Clarkson. Shout out Jordan Clarkson, by the way. I always mess with Jordan Clarkson. He had a great game. Like he played 11 minutes and got you 10 points off the bench.
Yeah.
He did better than two of your starters.
I will say
And
though,
Deuce McBride didn't do anything either. Like you had three people who like are supposed to be key players on your team or have a key role, and they did not show up.
I will
It's how
say
you
though,
lose a game.
shout out OG and Anobi. Great game.
OG played. OG looked like Kawhi out there
Oh,
yesterday,
great.
man.
Um,
He was hooping.
yeah,
Respect to OG.
great game. And
That was
also,
a hell of a game.
yeah, also want to say, Josh Hart, you made your threes today. I don't expect that to
Yeah.
happen again, but
But
you made your
so
threes
you
today.
got you got a 3 point game from Josh Hart. You got a OG's best game and a cool minute on offense. And then you still got 30 from Brunson. Like you can't complain that much. The reason why you lost is because you had three other key players who didn't score. And again, not Jalen, Jordan Clarkson gave you 10 points in 11 minutes. Like Landry Shamet played bad, shot bad. Like that's how you lose. You had key players just not show up, but you had other people who played out their mind.
Yeah,
Like OG Anunoby and Josh Hart. Josh Hart giving you four threes in the game, you gotta win.
yeah,
You have to. Because you're not getting that the rest of the series, bro. And like they'll live with that. If Josh Hart hits a three, tip your cap and say, good shot, bro. Like you're not even like worried about it.
yeah. And I like the adjustment. Like, and I've literally been waiting for them to make this adjustment. Wemby should be guarding Josh Hart. Like,
I
I've
agree.
been waiting for
Sag
that.
off him, bro.
I'm about to say like I think Wemby is. I'm not saying like Wemby can get beat. We saw him get beat, bro. Jose Alvarado had that nice shot over Wemby. I said, wait.
Yeah, he had a, but like that was like a heavy pull. Like he got up and like just got up there immediately.
We
That's hard for any defender, especially someone who's 7.5 feet tall. He's just not gonna react that fast.
yeah.
So that
Um,
was, I will say, if you get to your spot and can are good off the pull up, that is something that I've seen recently where Wemby can be like a little behind. Like
yeah.
those you got to be a really good scorer for that, like to get your momentum, to get squared, all that. So it's not really necessarily kryptonite, but that's something I have seen where like you can get a jump shot off on Wimby if you do that.
Yeah, yeah, and I think Wemby's a good enough like closeout player for like him to still even if he's late disrupt Josh Hart's momentum when it comes to shooting. Um, yeah, Josh Hart's not a good shooter. At most, he will have a one other game like this, and I think that the defensive adjustment that they should make. I don't know. The only issue with that is that I don't like having Cat on a smaller player. I think Cat, at least in the first half, showed you that that's kind of food for him when he is attacking the basket. So,
Yeah, when he's not in his head like yelling at the defense. But yeah, I agree. I
um,
don't like Cat on other players like on smaller guys either because either if he's on the perimeter or in the paint, like he still kind of has you at like his mercy because he's
yeah.
still a very good shooter. So it's like his jumper is hitting as well. There's just problems. Cat can give you a lot of problems. Like in reality, like I feel like Cat as a talent, he could be a little bit better than what he is. Like he's still all-star, all NBA level player, but like I think if he's a little bit more aggressive, like and like, let's say he was a number one and just got the keys, he could give you like 28 and like 12. Like,
Bro, again, I think I said this last time when a lot of people make inflammatory statements about themselves. Oh, yeah, I'm the greatest of all time. I'm the best scorer in the league. I'm X, Y, and Z. I usually just roll my eyes because you're just supposed to say that, right? You're supposed to have that confidence. When Kat says, I'm the greatest shooting big of all time, I literally just say, okay, yeah, I mean, yeah, you are.
you're right. Like, that's not hyperbole.
It's not
I
hyperbole.
don't know anybody else who was that big shooting 40 from three. Like,
I'm about to say, so like, yeah, you are. You know what I'm saying? And seeing him hesitate last night when it came to pulling really from anywhere was really frustrating. Reason why they lost, another contributor as to why they lost. I've been saying it since the playoffs began. The Knicks' hopes and dreams of a finals begins and ends with Karl Anthony Towns.
I
This
agree. He's like that. He's the MVP. Like,
and
he's
even if he
an
doesn't win
MVP.
Finals MVP, he's the most
Mhm.
important player on this team. So, I
Is
expect.
there anything?
Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, is there anything else you want to cover on this series before we move?
Oh no, I was just gonna say, do I expect the Knicks as a unit to play like this bad? No, but if the Spurs win Game 4, I'm gonna start talking reckless.
Me
I'm gonna,
too.
yeah,
Let's
I'm gonna
go.
start talking reckless. I can't lie to you. Mikal Bridges is having flashbacks. That's what I'm gonna say. That's what I'm gonna say. Mikal Bridges.
Bro, imagine that actually would have to suck. Like, imagine you lose, you go up 2-0 in the finals, and you lose both of them.
Yeah, bro.
That would be heartbreaking, bro. Like, I would feel bad for him because Mikel's like a cool guy. Like, he's
Yes,
not a
yes, yes.
bad player, but like, I don't want to see the Knicks win, bro. And is that hate? Probably, but I want to see my dog Wemby win one game. But where do you want to start first? Should we talk about the Indiana Bears?
We can do that. Indiana Bears.
Okay, so now we're gonna segue to the NFL news. There's actually, even though it's been the offseason, there actually has been a decent amount of stuff going on. Um, even though, like I said, I'm wearing a Falcons shirt, and I just felt like it looked nice. I'm a diehard Chicago Bears fan. And apparently now, and there's been a lot of talks, of course, going back and forth between the Illinois governor and the Chicago Bears front office about building a new stadium. And now they're saying that the Illinois governor, J.B. Pritzker, has now basically blocked that off. There are a lot of details that go into it, but basically, the Chicago Bears are now going to Hammond, Indiana to build their new stadium. Now, I'll preface this by all of everything I'm saying. The stadium is not built yet, so still the Bears will probably be in Soldier Field for at least another 3 to 4, maybe even 5 years, because they're trying to build like a something similar to like a Texas stadium, AT&T Stadium. Not as like high tech because AT&T Stadium is one of a kind, but they're trying to get like a retractable roof, have stuff around the stadium, and make it really just one of the better stadiums in the league. And now I think a lot of this drama to me has been blown out of proportion, just because again we're not gonna know where we're not going to see anything for another 4 or 5 years before the Bears even play. But I also do agree that there's just a lot of unfortunate circumstances. Like for instance, you can't expand Soldier Field because everything around Soldier Field is like a historic landmark. So by law, you cannot touch that. You can't build there. So that's already like impeding on the process. That's number one. Two, Soldier Field is the smallest stadium in the NFL. So already for fans, like real fans, when there's a big game like against the Packers or the Rams, those tickets on average are like $400 or $500. Also another disappointment in Soldier Field. And then number three, if you go to any other NFL stadium, it is probably way, way easier to get out and actually like get to your car compared to Soldier Field. Soldier Field, like it will take you. You have to walk almost. I wouldn't say a mile, but you have to walk a long way from parking to get to the stadium. And then on top of that, just to get to the parking or leave, you're still going to be in traffic for like 40, 45 minutes where it's not bumper to bumper before you even get there. Like just from going to the stadium to on the highway. In reality, it's like with no traffic, it's like a 5, 10 minute drive. When there's a game, you're dead there for like 40, 45 minutes. And that's why we need a new stadium, but I still think it's blown out of proportion. Like, yes, okay, if they play in Indiana, that would suck because I like how it looks. The stadium and the city looks like Soldier Field at night is crazy. But like the Jets don't play in New York, the Giants don't. They play in New Jersey. The I was about to say Redskins. The Commanders also don't play in Washington either. They play in Maryland. Now the
Okay.
new stadium is in Maryland. I mean in DC.
Yes, it is.
But still, they don't do that as of right now. And then the Chiefs don't play in Kansas City. So
Yeah,
like
sir.
it's kind of like it is what it is. I would love them to still play in Chicago, but like it's not like I'm not gonna if that's the reason why you're not gonna be a fan of the Bears anymore or something like that, you weren't a Bears fan to begin with. And last part, Drew, before I let you get your thoughts off,
Cool.
I think in a perfect world, I would want them to build the new stadium in Arlington Heights where they already bought the land and they've had the land for at least like 4 or 5 years now. I think that's really dumb. But the Bears don't want to pay for it all. They want the taxpayers to pay for the majority of the stadium when we're in a recession and it's probably going to get worse. So like the Illinois governor is like, no, why would I do that? That's not smart. Especially when like, you got like SoFi Stadium and the stadium in Vegas. The Rams and Raiders paid for the majority of it, if not all of it. So like the Bears are also one of the most wealthy franchises in the NFL. They have the money for this. They're choosing not to do that. So, and I'm a Bears fan. So they've only had like in the last 15 to 20 years, maybe 4 seasons where like, oh, the Bears are actually good out of 20 years. If I'm the governor, I'm not paying for that either. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I love the Bears, but like, we got to be serious. You can't just ask some crazy demands after Caleb Williams pops off for 1 year, bro. That's crazy.
It's exactly.
Especially then at the detriment of the citizens, your fans. Like, wow. So I understand it from both sides. I don't want them to play in Indiana, but like, that's why I'm kind of just like, it's whatever, bro. Like, they're not going to play in Indiana for at least 3 to 4 years anyway. So enjoy the time while they are. This is something that's down the road. That's how I look at a lot of things in life in general. So to me, it's not that deep.
I hear that. And if you hear noise, it's probably because it's raining. But I hear that. I think for me, I look at this like through two aspects. I just think, well, a, it's unfortunate that like the Bears are going to relocate within the next 5 years when their team will likely be pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's unfortunate. Like you guys have young talent. You just brought up Caleb. I saw Luther Burden on my on my timeline yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Like you have I literally saw a clip of Declan Doyle on. I was like, what? That the Ben Johnson coaching tree is already here.
Already, bro. And I'm not gonna lie. You saw how he's commanding, telling him to command the huddle, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Lamar going up this year. Declan Doyle will be a head coach within the next 2 years.
Probably.
I don't know if he'll get it next year because he's still like 30. He's not even 30 yet, bro.
He's
Like,
really. I looked up his age. He's like really young. Like, and
yeah, him and
that's
Lamar are like the same age.
crazy. But yeah, like a lot of promise is on this team, and Chicago's been begging for this for years. And the fact that like they're gonna like relocate somewhere else is a little sad. It's a little unfortunate. And I'm not a Bears fan, you know what I'm saying? So I don't have that level of sentimental value or with the team. But I am a really big supporter of having teams located in where they're like and where they claim to be located. You know what I'm saying? Like and although I understand it's hard. It's hard, bro. Like Philadelphia is somehow does it extremely well. Like in the way that like the 76ers the 76ers like stadium or arena is right across from the Eagle Stadium. Like it is the way like it takes a lot of meticulous city planning. Like which I've come to
And I like that too. I
yeah
like that too. I wish in a perfect world, I wish it could be like that. But
yeah
logistically, especially in Chicago, it was never like that anyway. The
yeah
Cubs play on the north side, White Sox play on the south side. United Center is on the west side. Then you got Soldier Field is in the loop. So
yeah
like they were never close like that to begin with, and the city is so big and kind of it's not like New York where it's like that jam packed, but like there's nowhere else to build really in the city without like breaking the law. The only place to build is right by the water, which is like historic landmarks, and even Soldier Field itself is something that you really can't expand upon because that's supposed to be a landmark too, and it's owned by the park district. It's not owned by the Bears.
yeah. It's all like again, city planning is important. Like I'm in Atlanta right now. I'll be in Atlanta for the next two like what was it? Yeah, 2 months. I kind of hate how this is a like a walking city. I kind of hate it, bro. It is. I'm on Georgia Tech's campus. This is where I'm living. There's no food here. I have to drive somewhere to get food. I have to drive honestly everywhere to get everywhere, bro. And that's frustrating. But all that to say, man, it's unfortunate. I like when cities have, sports places. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's in Atlanta when it came to like State Farm Arena and Mercedes Benz being again really right next to each other, or they have the Battery for the Braves, which is beautiful by the way. If you ever have a chance, go to the Battery to watch the Braves play.
I've
Also,
definitely
the Braves
seen it.
the Braves are actually pretty good this season. So go watch the Braves play
Yeah,
anyway. But
go to a game, bro.
I went last year and I'm broke. So you know what I'm saying? I'm good.
Hey,
I'm
bro,
good. But
you got that internship money, bro. You're gonna get paid, bro.
check hasn't hit yet. So but all that to be said though, my second thing is that and I talk about this in something I wrote. These high tech stadiums, man, I'm not with it. I'm not with it, bro. I'm not with it. I think
But
like don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I do think that like stadiums should be upgraded and that they should be upkept, and I think it's important to do those things. I think rebranding is important. I think evolution is important. All of that, but like I don't want to get to a point in which every football stadium in the NFL is actually a dome or has a retractable window that they use. So like I don't want football to essentially, at least on the professional level, to become an indoor sport. And I think that there is historical value in places like Lambeau and places like Soldier. You know what I'm saying? And like, like kind of correlation here. A lot of soccer fans are coming to America for the World Cup, which starts this Friday. And a lot of them have pulled up and they said, yeah, your stadiums are cool, but they don't really have like historical like feeling there. And they're right. That's true. That's one thing that college. Hmm?
at the ones that the World Cup is being played at.
Yes.
I think, like you said, Lambeau and Soldier, they do. But Soldier Field is not big enough to have the World Cup there.
I
They
agree.
had
I
that.
agree. I agree.
They had the friendly there this past weekend, but then that was packed out. But I would put good money on it that it probably took them an hour to get out that stadium. But like the MetLife, Hard Rock, AT&T Stadium, SoFi, a lot of these stadiums are less than 20 years old. So like there's definitely no historical value with them. But those are like the best places to play.
But yeah, like, and I don't know, man. It's interesting. I can think college football will always have the leg up when it comes to atmosphere compared to the NFL, just because of the historical, the historical or the environment of the stadiums that they play in, man. And I think I want to, although I understand, like, I'm super happy that Washington is moving back to the city. I'm super happy that they're just going to remodel or build upon RFK Stadium and just put the new stadium. I love that. I think that's incredible.
Yeah, that was good. That was
Um,
good, especially on the old on the old grounds of of the old stadium. I think
yes,
they did well by that. But I will say, um, I feel I do definitely agree with one side of you know there should be everything shouldn't be a dome, but I do think also. This is pro sports, and I do not like snow games are cool when it's flurries to a certain extent. Especially like when you play ball, like bro, playing in the snow is like it's like catching a brick. Like that's not enjoyable. It makes it the weather obviously makes it very harder to have the highest level of play. And especially like the Broncos game, you couldn't even like see the lines on the field in the AFC Championship. So like sometimes I do agree weather in playing on grass is definitely needed. But also I don't like when the weather fully impedes on somebody's like actual talent and just a team as a whole playing. I don't think that should happen at the highest level, in my opinion. So I get both sides, but it is annoying. Like snow games are cool as a kid to me, but like I don't know.
playing.
I played in a snow game. It sucks. Like
And I understand that. You know what I'm saying? Like, part of me, like, for example, 2 years ago, I think it was the divisional round matchup between the Rams and the Eagles.
yeah,
You can make the argument that the Rams win that game if it's in LA,
yeah.
or if it's just simply if it's not snowing, right? Um, but I think that plays a part into it, and I know that's
And you're right. You're right.
you know what I'm
100%.
saying. Like, I think that it prioritizes, for example, the regular season in which a team like Chicago that's actually used to playing in the snow, making a team like LA, ironically, come to the Soldier Field and be like, okay, cool, you're not used to this, but we are making things like that more valuable, right? I think that's important, and yeah, I agree
Yeah.
with you. It sucks, being like, damn, bro, if it wasn't snowing, bro, we would have dominated. We're just not used to it. You know what I'm
And
saying?
like I'm not talking about like if it's like flurries or something like that, cool, go ball. Like how it was against the Bears versus Rams, I don't care. And if it's cold, same thing, like that's fine. I'm just talking about when it's like there's almost a foot of snow on the ground and they're still trying to play. That's where it's like, all right, bro, come on. Like that when the field is covered and you can't even like because they have crews that will like show like make sure that the you can at least see the lines on the field. When that's not working, it's like, all right. Now a dome would be better. But if it's like 10 degrees, I understand that. That's fine. So like I'm kind of in the middle on this topic, like on that topic of as far as like weather. Like
Yeah.
I totally see your point and agree with a lot of your point. But also like if it's like you can't even throw the ball, like you just gotta run it. It's like this is a boring game.
Yeah, I mean, really, my thesis is we gotta chill out with the domes, man. We gotta chill. We gotta chill out with them. I'm all pro. I am all pro new stadiums, and I think the new Commander Stadium looks gorgeous. I think the renderings that HKS have done, they look incredible. Take that dome off the top, bro.
That's
Take the
not
top.
happening.
I know it's not happening because they want Beyonce to perform there, and they want what I'm saying, Drake to pull up there for his next tour or whatever. And if it rains, they're gonna be losing money. But we gotta chill out on the domes, man. You're a football stadium. Act like it, bro. Chill out on the domes, bro.
What else? Hold on. My computer mouse decided to go dead for a second again. Um, what's it called? How do you feel about if I know you saw my video on TikTok, so I'll let you go first. How do you feel about OBJ going back to the Giants?
I mean, like, um, Odell Beckham Jr. is one of the most impactful wide receivers ever in terms of football culture. A lot of people, I wasn't one of them because I wasn't that good at football, but a lot of people, rocked that OBJ, what I'm saying, style at one point in their lives. They probably regret it now in
Were you
2020.
talking about the hairstyle?
Yes, yes, yes.
I was never one of those people. I always wish, but like my parents were gonna let me dye my hair bleach blonde. That was never
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah, one of the most impactful ever, and culturally, and also like he's been useful in a lot of different teams. Obviously, he was very big into the Rams making that run that they did in the Super Bowl. A lot of people believe that if he doesn't get injured, he wins Super Bowl MVP.
I actually do
Um,
agree with that.
and obviously, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think that would have done him winning Super Bowl MVP would have done wonders for his career and how we look back on his legacy as a player. Um, And he was also instrumental when the Ravens, I think it was in 2023, in which they had Mike McDonald as their coach. Them going having that as dominant as the of a team that they did, go obviously, then eventually losing to the Kansas City Chiefs at home. I was hurt that day, but all that to be said, this does nothing for the Giants. WPR strategy. I don't really have any other like that's the thing. Like it doesn't really move the needle. It's not like this team doesn't have receivers. Obviously Malik Neighbors is a fantastic receiver and you know but yeah, cool, I guess. Shout out to bro, homecoming. Woo. Whatever.
Yeah, I think I'm happy that he's going back to the Giants. I think it looks cool. Like we'll get some nostalgic aura points. You know what I'm saying? Like it would just be fun to watch him back in the Giants. Oh, and Jalen Hyatt got to give up that 13, bro, just for the vibes. But the three does look cool. But if you haven't seen my video on TikTok, I said he doesn't make a difference at all. Actually, like I love OBJ, one of the most talented receivers of the 2010s. I think he had one of the best starts to a career a receiver has ever had. So we definitely got to give him his respect. But nah, man, like I don't expect in 2026 OBJ to like really make a difference on the team. And like that's okay, but people shouldn't be expecting that. And the same thing with like Braxton Berrios, Juju. Like I think Malik Neighbors, Darius Slayton, Malachi Fields, they drafted from Notre Dame. That's not a bad pick, but like I'm not moved at all by this receiver room outside of Malik Neighbors. I don't even know if he's healthy. And yeah, man, it's I love OBJ. I hope I'm wrong about this take. I doubt it though. But yeah, man, it's not really doing anything. It's just for the vibes. I think the Giants needed some good PR because of Jackson Dart. That's really my take on it. Um, but yeah, man, I think what was the last thing he did? Oh, that was the last point. It's also not even training camp yet, bro. He could very well get cut by August.
Yeah, yeah.
Like all of them could get cut by August. Jalen Hyatt, Juju, Barrios, they could all be off the roster if they don't produce. So yeah, man, I'm not moved.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm really prepared to get off a lot of Jackson Dart slander this season. Um, but I'm gonna save
Did
that
you
for
think he's good?
no slander. I think he's going. I don't think.
I thought you meant like I'm moving away from Jackson Dart
Oh
slander.
no
I
no
was
no
gonna
no no
say,
no
bro.
no. I think if Jackson Dart was a black man,
I
you would
know
look
where
at
you're
his
going.
skill set and you would say, well, this guy shouldn't be playing quarterback. Um, but
Yeah.
I'll keep that to myself before the hardball Giants fail this season.
Yeah. we'll just let that take let it sit for a minute and
Yeah,
just come
yeah.
back to it when the season starts. You know what I'm saying? Um, Now we have to talk about really quick the Brendan Sorsby news. That's if you're not familiar, former Kansas State, former I said Kansas State, I'm tripping. Former Cincinnati quarterback Brendan Sorsby, he was spending, I'm trying to like pull up the stats so I'm not wrong,
Mhm.
but former Cincinnati quarterback Brendan Sorsby, who had a very good season last year, I might add, before the start of the 2026 season, he transferred to Texas Tech. Texas Tech just was in the college football playoff this year,
Yes.
and allegedly, what the report said was that his NIL deal was worth $5 million. And as you know, it's Texas, so they have a lot of money to throw at these players. Before spring ball started, they said that Sorsby was not a part of the team, and it was because, excuse me, he had to go to rehab for gambling addiction. And Texas Tech was basically just trying to get ahead of the situation. And it turns out that Sorsby had been gambling on over 9,000 bets on really anything, but he used to play for Indiana, and some of those bets were when he was on the team at Indiana, he would bet on his team, and he said that he felt more a part of the team if he put money on them, which is really something a degenerate would say. Which that's like that was actually hilarious. But basically, if you bet on games or even especially games that you're playing in the NFL, we've seen with like Jameson Williams, even in NBA, NFL, and in the MLB, if you do something like that you're going to be suspended or even, I guess, barred from the league. Like Pete Rose, you saw what Terry Rozier, matter of fact, is going through a similar situation, Chauncey Billups. So we've seen in many different leagues that if you gamble on games in the league that you're playing in, or especially on games that your team is playing in, that is a no-go, and there's going to be a severe punishment coming from that. We all thought that for Brendan Sorsby as well. A lot of people thought maybe at the worst, like he's not going to play in college football this year. We'll have to go to the supplemental draft, and that's how he'll make it to the NFL somehow. And for a while, it looked like that was going to happen. He got denied, I think, 2 or 3 times. At least twice I saw where it was like his claim got denied. But as of yesterday, a Texas judge ruled that Brendan Sorsby can play this year, which is I don't know how the NCAA like can kind of let that happen. I think there's a lot of things that basically the NCAA after NIL and the transfer portal and kind of giving players their own autonomy, the NCAA does not have the power that they once did. And that's really what my capstone project was about. But like this is something that's unprecedented for sure. We've never seen a player bet on games with his own team and everybody found out about it and he's gonna play this year. And I don't think the NCAA will stand for that. There's gonna be some type of punishment, but a crazy development. I'm trying to find out how much money he spent, but Drew, you can give your take on how he did that.
I mean, yeah, y'all should. First of all, y'all should look at Austin's, capstone project to see his thoughts on how NCAA has evolved over time. Um, but yeah, man, I think sports gambling has become the bane of my existence. Um, it's annoying. Like I think it's and it's a part of the it's an annoying part of the sports culture now. Every sports entity, it can be a sports journalism company such as ESPN has their own sports betting app. um at halftime they have like segments in which specific segments to talk about betting odds that you can still place bets on, ESPN bet or on
Yeah.
DraftKings or on on FanDuel. Like it's or on Kalshi. I hate Kalshi with all my heart.
Why do you not like Cauchy?
Because like it literally is a website in which you can just bet on anything. I feel like that's like immoral at
It's
some point. You know what I'm saying?
it's very degenerate behavior for sure. Um, I did download it. I can't lie. Like a couple weeks ago, I wanted to see if I could bet and take the over on Luther Burden 1,000 yards. Found out that like I wasn't gonna make that much off of it, but I just wanted to see because I'm very confident in that this year. But I agree with you. Kalshi, Polymarket, those apps. where you can just bet on anything. Like people are betting on the weather. That's
Like
real degenerate behavior. I'm not gonna
it's
lie.
it's disgusting, and it's permeated throughout sports. I mean, we're at a point in which people are risking their careers because sports betting has been so normalized. And you're right. I think this kind of boils down to the NCAA and other organizations as well within the sports. I will say the NFL does do a good job with like letting players know that this is not your league. This is not your league. You're at the behest of the owners and Roger Goodell. That is who you're at the best as. And, I think the NBA has done a decent job of balancing player autonomy and keeping the integrity of the organization. But the
I will
NCAA,
say though, they're wilding though for Terry Rozier. I'm not gonna lie. Like they said that he's got to pay back 26 million, and he's looking at jail time of like over 10 plus years. That's wild, bro. I
but
would, I'm fleeing the country, bro. I'm paying that money and getting gone. What are you talking
there's
about?
there's some things Adam Silver doesn't play about. Hey man, if Steve, hey man, Steve Ballmer probably got away with, we'll get away with circumventing the cap. But
Yeah, he did.
Scary
With the
Terry,
tree
you,
and
you
stuff
think you
like
can
that.
steal money from me? Yeah, it's not happening.
Yeah.
But all that to be said, man, I think the NCAA is like we're losing the plot. We there again. There's no again. We're at a point in which there is no difference between NFL, or we're getting to a point in which there's no difference between NFL, professional sports, and college football. Which is yes, college football, which is played on TV, and it garners millions upon billions of dollars, and it's played at such a high level, but they're still amateurs. They're still just athletes, and we're losing that. You're telling me
Yeah.
that these players can just bet on their teammates, bet on their own performance, bet on themselves, and like just as an entity, you're just like okay, cool, whatever.
Yeah, like that sets a
Everything's about
horrible
profit.
precedent in general. And I think now I will say like yes, there are amateurs, but this is what I talked about in my project basically is what I learned is that for a long time the NCAA kind of had their foot on the neck of athletes where
Yeah.
they said even if you make money to try and eat,
Hmm.
you can't do that. So like when they gave them the ability to just get free reign as far as transferring, and then definitely free reign as far as money and just and now people get a certain amount of money just to go to like to recruit players. That's where they messed up because they knew that was going to be a problem and they put no rules behind it, no salary cap, no anything. So when that happens, it leads us down, which is why I call the project a rabbit hole. It leads us down a bunch of different avenues that of things that we've never seen happen before. We have guys going to court just so they can get eligibility and just play another year. We had guys now gambling on on themselves and somehow still playing. I mean, I just looked it up. It says Brendan in the court documents. It says Brendan Sorsby wagered at least $90,000 on professional and college sports during his college career, and this included thousands of individual bets. Approximately, he placed 40 bets on Indiana football while he was on the team, bro. That's crazy. And he's about to play this year. And not to mention, he got 5 million from Texas Tech to transfer. Cincinnati was already suing him for 1 million for leaving because he broke the contract there. So like this guy is just problems have been following him for the last 6 months of this year.
Yeah, man, and it's again, we're building a culture with the way with NIL, and the thing is, let's be clear, I'm very pro player autonomy. I think that players should be allowed to transfer. I think that players should be paid for their name, image, and likeness. But we have opened the but not regulating any of this and opening the floodgates has led to again a rabbit hole that, in my opinion, just encourages profit over everything. Literally over everything, over the quality of the game, over building actual programs, over player development, everything that it from top to bottom, from the players to the coaches to the athletic directors, it has become basically just about profit and then of course getting to the next level. And that's
Yeah,
really
and
dangerous.
I agree. And that's why, like, when you have a player like Jeremiah Smith or Malachi Tony, like, yes, they of course want money, but like, you just gotta throw the house at them because you see, like, they're really about trying to be better football players.
Yes.
And finding a team like that is hard. And so, like, that's why I think this is kind of, uh, this is a little bit of a segue, but that's why I don't think Bill Belichick is really going to do well in college. He
Mm.
could if they give him enough time. But excuse me, you have to find a lot of players who really are bought into playing football. And a lot of the best talent is going to go where whoever throws the most money at them. And Bill Belichick wants guys who are bought in, and he was talking to them any type of way on the Patriots. Like he wants it to be done his way, and not everybody's gonna go like that. If they're not playing, they're gonna leave. And like, I don't think they're gonna give him enough time to even really like kind of experiment with that and really make it work. I think
Yeah.
that's the hard part about all this college football, and then why I completely understand why Nick Saban retired. Actually,
Bro, and it's crazy that like the greatest college football coach, probably in conversation as one of the greatest, literally just the greatest football coach of all time, was ran out. Yeah, essentially ran out of college football because of this, man. Because he realized, bro, like I can't build teams like this. I can't develop talent like this. I can't do the things that I've been trying to do for years. I can't do it like this. I can't. I'm not capable under this, you know, under this.
and he was old, bro. If I'm almost 70 years old, I'm not trying to sell recruits on my team by bringing out Rolls Royces and stuff like that,
Yeah,
bro.
bro.
I'm not doing that.
I
I'm
bet it's
trying to play
true,
ball.
bro. You want to play? It used to be as simple as, bro, you're getting offered from Alabama. It like that. You get to play at Alabama. It's as simple as that. You get to play at Clemson. You get to play at Ohio State. You get to play like you get to play there, and that's like insane. You know what I'm saying? Like it used to be that simple, but now it's well. I mean, yeah, I can play at Ohio State, but like Miami offering me more money. You know?
Yeah, bro. They really a lot of them go to where more money is at, and like it's crazy because even the guys at smaller schools are they're getting really paid too. Like, I mean, this is basketball, but like at a high major school like at Illinois or UConn, even if you're on the bench, you're getting like 200 G's. Like, that's crazy. More like the average person, that's still like there's a small percentage of people in America that make over $100,000 a year, and you have kids younger than us now doing that too, and it's crazy to see. Happy for them, but definitely is going to be a long time. I don't know if college football can ever actually recover and bring back structure. Like if they did, they should have brought it. Like they should have came up with new rules immediately. And now I don't know. It might be out of hand.
I mean, I think it is, and it's unfortunate because I think there's a formula here. I think there are methods again to like keep the integrity of the sport. If you guys want to see an article about how I think the college football playoff should be 6 teams instead of 175 like they're trying to make it, you should read my
Yeah,
Substack.
type in.
Yeah,
But at most, it should be 12, bro. I don't like. They're talking about 24. That's gonna piss me off, bro. I don't want to see that. Like Iowa was like number 24 this year, bro. Iowa does not need to be in the playoff.
exactly.
Everybody's just trying to get more money, and somebody needs to put their foot down and be like, no, like we don't want to see that. I don't care. I don't want to see James Madison, and
Yeah,
like
I don't.
I don't want to see
I don't.
Tulane playing SEC school unless they're really, really like that. And we've had too many years in a row where they're not really like that. So I'm not trying to see that. 16 is not crazy. I thought it should have been like it should have been like that from the jump, but
Yeah,
the college football system is just flawed. It always has been. The BCS, the way they had, even before then, they had the bowl games where it'd be like the top two teams just playing the Rose Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl, and that's the national championship, and the writers would just say, "Oh, so and so is the national champion," instead of them actually playing. Then the BCS, very flawed system. I like the 14 playoff. It just like sometimes there are more than four teams that deserve to be in, which is why I do think six is good. Like now, I will say like 12 isn't bad either. It's just that they give automatic bids to group of five teams, which that can kind of mess things up. I think how it went the first year with how Boise State was had to bye, that was wrong. But I do think they should have made the playoff for sure. So like, there's
Yeah,
just ways that it could be done better, but I don't think if it goes more than 12, like it's gonna ruin. It's too much football anyway. Like you can't play
yeah.
that much. Like you're gonna be playing 16, 17 games a year. They're not.
And part of,
It goes back to the point. They're not pros. Like that's a lot on your body at 18, 19 years old. I would know.
and part of the beauty, I mean, he would know. He would know. He would know. Part of the beauty of like four teams is that like as well, or the 4 team format, although flawed, because I think the last year had it, in which again, Florida State did their job, won every
They
game.
shouldn't have made it though.
But here's the thing: in six, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Yes, I understand that the quarterback went down, and obviously they were not going to put up a fight. But like I like those 6 teams all had legitimate arguments to making it to the playoff.
I
You know what I'm
agree.
saying?
Was
And
that 2023 or 24?
I think that was 2020. Was it three? I think was it. Did Georgia make it that year, or Georgia didn't make it?
No, Georgia didn't because Georgia played
Exactly.
Florida State in the playoff and beat the crap out of them. I'm trying not to curse, but
Exactly.
they
Exactly. And Georgia's was it? Georgia, every team in there either had 0 losses or 1 loss to another team that made it to the playoff.
yeah, they did. I remember that. Now, if they were fully healthy, I agree. They should have made it. I just knew they weren't going to win. Like it was, and it definitely gave Alabama some leeway, but
They
I
did.
knew Michigan and Washington were undefeated.
Yes.
Texas might have been undefeated that year,
I think
or they
Texas lost
lost.
the game.
Texas lost again.
I think they lost 1 game. I forgot to exactly who. Hold up. I forgot to exactly who. I think I can bring up my article because I laid
Oh
it
yeah,
down.
Texas was 12-1, and I know Bama lost.
Let
So
me hold up.
that was because that they lost. Bama lost to Texas. They played that year.
What?
That was actually a very fun
I
year,
have it. I said, what is
2023.
it? Alabama. What was it? Texas won the Big 12, losing to only one ranked opponent. Alabama's only loss was to Texas, but they won the SEC by beating Georgia.
Yeah, they beat Georgia, and Jalen Milroe played the game of his life.
Yeah, shout out to bro.
And,
Um, but yeah, bro, like you know what I'm saying? Like great season of college football that year, by the way. But all that to be said though, like that's the beauty of 4 teams is that in the regular season in which you saw a team like Michigan and Ohio State play against each other, it would be like, wait, so whoever loses this game isn't going to make the college football playoff. That's
yeah,
awesome. That makes the regular season so much more valuable. Expanding it to 24 teams.
ridiculous.
But
I
completely
think, and I
diverse.
Yeah, I agree. And I think even 12, like I said, 12 is not that bad. Like we got the teams. Like people were talking about, oh, Notre Dame should be in over Miami. Miami went to the national championship. Miami beat Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Like the two teams, like people wanted Texas A&M not to make it or Notre Dame to make it over them. Notre Dame lost to both of those teams, and those teams deservedly made the playoff.
Don't get me
So
started
like
about Notre Dame, bro.
Notre Dame pissed me off, bro. That
Bro,
was real soft.
join
They
the
were a
AC,
really good team, but real
join the
soft.
ACC.
Yeah, I
Join the
agree.
ACC. Like this
I
whole, and they can lie and be like, oh yeah, we want our independence for. You want more bread, and like that, it really is that simple. Join the
Facts.
ACC if you want to be considered or get the same level of consideration as everyone else. Play by the rules that every other team plays by. Join the ACC, and we'll see if you're that good in the ACC. It's that simple.
And they were good like the year during that COVID year.
Hmm.
But I don't know why like that. I mean, I do know why, but like, if I'm the NCAA, I'm telling them to do that. But like I said, everybody has their own autonomy, so they
Yep.
can do what they want. Last point. By the way, we got to clip that and make that in like a separate video. That was a good topic. Um, last 2 points in the NFL before we go. Um, Russell Wilson retired, man. Um, it was definitely not the same. I saw a video on TikTok. It was saying that like obviously the last couple years it was rough, but like not everybody gets a happy ending. Not everybody gets a retirement tour. It's kind of like Chris Paul to
Yeah.
a degree. He kind of had the same career arc. Now, obviously Russell won a chip, so I'm happy that he did. Should have won two. Pete
Sure.
Carroll. I don't even blame Russell for that play. Like that's now we could have like said we're gonna give it to Marshawn, but like you just doing what the coach told you. And that wasn't a bad throw. Malcolm Butler made a hell of a play. So like I don't blame him for that at all. But yeah, man, Russell Wilson retired after he got drafted in 2012. So 13, 14 seasons in the league.
Seasons.
And it was still a very good career. At one point, like especially from like 2015 or like 2018, 19, he was one of the better quarterbacks in the league. I would never say he was number one, but he was top five and like
Yeah.
always in the top 10 for sure. And had many great seasons. So definitely had a great career and just kind of like overshadowed by the last couple years. Like, yeah, he was bad on the Broncos. Well, that first year on the Broncos wasn't as bad as it seemed. They just weren't winning. Like
Mhm.
he still threw for almost 4,000 yards. But I think Russell Wilson had a very, very solid career. I think just his personality and kind of his persona, like kind of brought his perception, his perception of perception down, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, Mr. Unlimited. You know what I'm saying? But nah, I think it is really unfortunate the way like he went out. He didn't get the retirement tour or whatever, which is unfortunate because I think he is one of the better quarterbacks of the 2010s. You know, obviously he won a Super Bowl, should have won two of them. He has 4 seasons in his NFL career in which he threw for over 4,000 yards.
Yeah,
He,
but no Bears quarterback has done that once.
yeah, exactly. Like, and don't get me wrong, like he never won a league MVP or anything like that, but you know he's been an All Pro quarterback multiple times in his career. And so I think it's unfortunate that like a lot of people don't know what like Russell Wilson really was. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, really, really giving people hope in the idea that like undersized quarterbacks can not just like be like passable, you know, but like really like carry an offense, you know, and put an
Yeah,
offense back. And
like
that's what,
there's no Bryce Young, there's no Kyler without him.
yeah. And like, and a lot of people forget that the latter years of the Seahawks, that was what that was. The Legion of Boom was done. And it wasn't just the Legion of Boom was done. Their defense was genuinely bad. And they asked Russell Wilson, we need you to drop 30 points per game. And Russell Wilson said, okay, cool. And yeah, did that lead to like another championship? No. But let's just playoff appearances,
Playoffs, yeah.
you know?
They went to the playoffs, they won some games there, like he did his thing. Like I respect it. Like if I had to go quarterbacks off the 2000 out of the 2010s off my head, obviously Brady, Rodgers,
Yeah.
Mahomes. Are we counting him? He only played like 2 years in 2010, so
But like
I don't.
MVP 2018? Was it 2018?
Yeah, and then the Super Bowl the next year.
2019? I
So
think he is
are we
up there.
counting him? But definitely Brady, Rodgers, Breeze.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning had his best year of his career and then tapered off.
Yeah.
Um, and then Big Ben, Cam Newton. You could put Russell Wilson right in around there in that Cam Newton category.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, you know, Russell Wilson is a great talent. And again, it just makes me, you know, now he's known as Mr. Unlimited, you know, and jokes like that. But man, again, man, oh man, like there would there would be some Sundays in which you're watching football and he throws up that moon ball and you just say, man, like who can throw a ball like that, especially at that
That was
size?
a pretty, yeah, and like that throw, like the last game, like where he really like showed out was that game against the Cowboys this past year. That
Yeah,
was a great game. Like I actually wish they won. Like he threw three deep shots to like two, one to Robinson and two to Malik Neighbors, and that one at the end of the game. Fire,
bro.
fire. That was great. That was a great ball to watch. So definitely someone who will be missed. I think he'll have a great career. Being an analyst too.
Oh
Might be
yeah.
a little corny, but he's definitely gonna give like good insight on the game. He's not gonna be trying to like say stuff for clicks, and that's what we need. I think Jameis Winston, side note, gonna have a great career after football,
Oh
man.
yeah, he's gonna be a amazing analyst. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be hilarious.
Yeah. And like he's gonna be hilarious, but like again, like someone who's actually really smart and knows the ball.
Yeah.
And that's actually my next TikTok video. Link will be in the description. We're gonna put all of our stuff in the description for these episodes. I just thought about that. So you can look at our personal content as well. Next video on TikTok, we're talking about Florida State Jameis, man, because he was really like that. And people really don't talk about that. You just know him for eating the W and stuff like that. But Jameis at Florida State was that boy.
Heisman
But
winner, national championship winner.
bro, he only lost one game in 2 years. Like, there's no respect on it, bro. And then another guy, I will also be doing a video in the future on him as well. And one of the better athletes, definitely of the 20, I guess 2020s because he got drafted in 2018, but definitely one of the better athletes in general of recent time, Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray does not have really get talked about like as like one of the best quarterbacks in the league because he's not. But as an athlete, like who have we seen get drafted number one in the draft and then top 10 in another professional sport? That is something that we'll probably never see again for a long, long time. That's stuff that you see like in the 60s and stuff like that, where they're like, there's 15 rounds in every league of the draft, and they're like, okay, we're going to draft him in the NBA, MLB, and NFL. But like this would happen in 2018, bro.
Yeah.
A top 10 pick in both leagues. Crazy. And now I say all that to say we got to talk about the drama that has been happening in Minnesota between this quarterback battle between Kyler Murray and JJ McCarthy. And Kyler Murray gave a very PR answer. We should pull up the clip, but Kyler Murray just said, I'm doing whatever I can to help out JJ and make sure that he's just ready for the season. Wow. They asked JJ about the dynamic between the two. He said, well, we sit on the opposite sides of the classroom and like we're just going to work and like, yeah. Like basically that's all he said. Like it wasn't like, oh, that's my guy. We're trying to help or we're trying to compete and stuff like that. He said, yeah, we don't talk to each other. We sit on the other side of the room. Like, bro, that's not how you get the job, bro. Like, especially as a quarterback, we can't have that.
Yeah. I just thought it was funny, man. I think like again, it's a lot of people have talked about Kyler being immature as a player. You know, the whole like, oh yeah, he don't be watching film, he be on Madden, he on Call of Duty. You know, allegations
I
and
think
stuff.
they dragged that a lot.
They did, but like you know, he gets a lot of accusations of being an immature player, an immature quarterback, and it
And
was super interesting to watch like him give a very mature answer like hey you know I'm always here to like you know like to teach the young guy and try and help him become better as a player and da 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 and JJ McCarthy just like
hell no.
no I don't know him, I don't talk to him, we don't talk, we're not friends, like it's so it was so
That's
funny,
not
man.
the homie, bro.
And it like hey man, again, you're not gonna win the starting job like that, bro. Well, first of all, you're probably not winning the starting job, but you're not gonna win like that.
Especially if you watch the tape, like the
Yes.
tape is actually kind of egregious. There were a lot of wide open guys on film, and it's not good. It's not good, bro. Like you're not in a good spot, and you're a first round pick, man. Like you gotta you gotta read the room, bro. Like he has a short time because you gotta think Sam Darnold.
Yep.
Like when he got hurt, Sam Darnold won them, I think, 14 games.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, they
13.
won 14
They were
games because
13.
they almost were the first seed in the NFC with Sam Darnold. And then he leaves. They're like, okay, we're gonna let him walk for you. And then you get hurt again, and also are just mediocre. Like
Worse than
that's
mediocre.
yeah, he was bad. Let me see JJ McCarthy's stats.
Worse
And
than mediocre.
people,
It was. It
I
was.
remember people were saying that he was better than Caleb after that first game, bro.
Yeah.
He had 11 touchdown passes and 12 picks and
Sometimes people
60
get carried away,
yards.
and that's okay. Hold on. Where did I put? Where is? Yeah. In this year, uh, yeah, he threw more interceptions than touchdowns. He finished bottom 10 in total EPA during the season. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. So
And they try to say he was better than my quarterback, man.
chill. Sometimes people get carried away. Sometimes people get carried away. You know. But no.
Especially on first take. That's why we don't watch that.
Yeah. But yeah, you JJ McCarthy, you're funny, man. You're a funny guy. Hopefully Kevin O'Connell makes the right decision. I think he will because I think Kevin O'Connell is a fantastic coach. And honestly, it blows my mind how terrible JJ McCarthy has been, considering about what's around you.
Justin Jefferson, bro. And Addison. You have two people like that can just go and get open. Like that part just makes me mad. Like I watched the film. That was that was bad. Like on the guy like film watchers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw him break down JJ McCarthy clips. It's like
Bro, like
I
it's
can't help you, bro.
again like Caleb Williams considered tanking his own draft stock just to play for the Vikings
Bro,
because
I
he
would have hated that.
realized
That would have been so bad, bro.
yeah, he realized that like wow, this is like a perfect place, and I think he's right. It's the perfect place for a young quarterback to develop. Kevin O'Connell is one of the best coaches in football. Justin Jefferson is still arguably the best wide receiver in football.
Bro, you can literally just spam the ball to him, and as long as it's in his radius, he's gonna catch it. And Jordan Addison is also a very
Yes.
good receiver. Who's gonna get you. He's gonna get open. And Jalen Naylor was also good last year. But he got paid. There's T.J. Hawkinson. There was no excuse. There's no excuse to be bad. They had Max Brosmer because he only played 10 games. J.J. McCarthy.
Mhm.
They were still 9-8. If you were just above average, you would have made the playoffs.
Yeah, and that's the thing, bro. Like literally, and the thing is, you're not even on. Like this isn't a Jaden Daniels rookie season type of deal in which, oh yeah, we're kind of asking you to do a lot because our defense sucks. Brian Flores is your team's DC. Your defense is going to be a top 10 unit till he's like
Every year.
dies essentially.
Until he leaves, until for whatever reason we know what reason why he's not a head coach.
Yeah.
But um, until he gets a job, he's not gonna leave, which pains me because again I'm a Bears fan, so I have to play against this, and that's the way that his defense, especially against younger quarterbacks, it throws everything off, and
Yeah.
it's just a threat. The Vikings are a threat regardless every year, and
Puts on the
all
blender.
he had to do was really do what he did at Michigan. Make the right throws, hand the ball off, and
He wasn't even done asked to do a lot at Michigan, which is the funny
and no, he wasn't, and he had a way better receiver talent at Michigan, and that's the part that kind of fries me because I know one of his best receivers at Michigan was Tyler Morris. I played he grew up around where I live, so and was in my class, so I definitely know him, and he went to high school with him. Tyler still only had 300 yards, and that's your top receiver from high school. I don't know how that. So we've seen this happen before, and you have Justin Jefferson now, and you didn't say let me make it apparent that I get this guy the ball. That alone is just crazy to me. Um, I hope I hope Kyler does do well with Justin Jefferson this year and just performs well. I just don't want them to do well against my team. That's all I ask.
yeah.
But I think they should be good. He only had 1,000 yards this year. That really messed up his trajectory, bro. Like
Yeah,
He
bro.
was
Again,
he was
I
great.
wouldn't judge. Again,
Justin
I
Jefferson.